Hey, everybody, we're live. It's the waitingfornextyear.com podcast. We're part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on your podcast feed. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm here with Josh Paloha, and we are going to talk NFL football. It's not really Cleveland related, but we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. We're going to maybe talk a little bit about the championship weekend games and the Super Bowl matchup and maybe a little bit about Super Bowl food. How's it going, Josh?
Great. It's weird being on this podcast and not having to do the intro. I kind of like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like kind of a fun thing that all of a sudden you're an experienced podcast host after just what, like 2-3 months, 3-4 months?
If that's what you call it. Yeah, Joe and I threw something together and the Browns started winning, so we had to continue it.
No, it's great. It's you were saying, "Hey, I want to do podcasting. Hey, I want to do podcasting." I'm like, "Cool. You do some podcasting, man. We need more hosts, more voices on the channel. It's been fun."
Yeah, I guess you can never have too many voices, right? Especially during Brown season when they're actually winning, you can never talk too much Browns, both on the site and then podcasting and just wherever. We won't even talk about the Deshaun Watson trade rumors because that's bad Browns news. But you
Yeah,
can never talk too much Browns.
I think it's non-Browns news. I mean,
True,
it's like
that I agree.
it's like the echoes of old Browns teams where we always coveted other rosters and other players from other cities. The Browns have their own players now, and is Deshaun Watson better than Baker Mayfield? Yeah, probably at this point, but like it's not a problem. It's not a problem. If you brought 100% of the Browns roster back next year, and you would never do that, you'd make some improvements on defense, but if you did, it would be okay. I'd be more okay with it as a Browns fan than I would as a Bengals fan or a Steelers fan. And so that's kind of where we are.
And if you're talking 100%, that also means players getting healthy. So technically, even if the Browns don't make any changes, they're still getting better because they get so many guys back, especially defensively.
But in
But we all know they're going to make changes. Let's be honest.
they're going to make changes. They're going to improve that defense.
Yes.
But we're not talking about the Browns. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Now, first of all, who did you want to be playing in the Super Bowl? Did you end up with the matchup that you always hoped for?
Honestly, I felt like I wanted to see Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl. I think he's been in like 3 straight NFC championships and has gone 0-3 or whatever it is. I wanted to see him in it, but it would also be cool. Well, I guess not cool, but if the Chiefs win it all, the Browns could say, well, we lost to the Super Bowl champion. What are we going to do?
Yeah, my heart wanted both Buffalo and Green Bay. And so I still think it could be a good game. I still think it would be a fun game, but based on the way I felt on championship weekend after the Browns were eliminated, I got none of the teams I wanted. So
True. For some reason, the Buffalo Bills completely just escaped my memory. Yeah. I mean, if any team deserved to win it this year besides the Browns, it's the Bills. So seeing them go out like they did.
and I'm not even one of those Josh Allen stands or whatever. Like I'm not a big fan. I'm really impressed with the way he improved his game, but I still have major questions about his abilities to win in the NFL long term. I think that it's a great story, and it would have been an even better story if they make it to the Super Bowl. And certainly, much like the Browns shouldn't make any changes at quarterback this offseason, the Bills shouldn't even think about it either, which is great. Like, it's a great feeling. But that said, I how much confidence do you have that that Josh Allen's going to have a better overall career when it's all said and done than like Baker Mayfield or Joe Burrow or fill in the blank? I feel the same way about Lamar Jackson, by the way. Lamar Jackson is ridiculously impressive. MVP season last year and did amazing things. But like, honestly, when it's all said and done, I don't have that much confidence that he's going to have this much superior career than I have no confidence interval that he's going to have a better career than Ben Roethlisberger. And I think it's a coin toss between him and Baker Mayfield at this point.
Yeah, I guess you could say, well, as far as Josh Allen goes, Buffalo, I guess a year later than the Browns did, they got Stephon Diggs, and he turned into what the Browns were hoping OBJ would turn into in year one. He was like the I get you could say Josh Allen was decent, but I think part of his development this season was because of Stephon Diggs. I mean, he led the NFL in receiving, and like I said, he was everything that the Browns wish OBJ was going to be, which hopefully he still can be with the Browns. But Diggs was everything and then some, and he helped his quarterback develop the way he did, as we saw. I mean, Josh Allen went from like, is he a bust to an NFL MVP candidate in one season?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And the Browns kind of took two shots at the Stephon Diggs thing, with they solidified the position with Jarvis Landry, and then uh, you know, John Dorsey takes a moonshot with OBJ, and that was supposed to put him over the top. But the fact that the Browns got as far as they did goes to show how successful it was to lure that steady guy first, just like they did with Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can relay this back to the Cavs this season too. When Kevin Love comes back and is healthy, he's not going to be the star anymore. I guess he still is a star, but he has to incorporate himself into the offense and make the offense work with him. The offense shouldn't have to work with Kevin Love. He has to work with the offense. The same can be said for OBJ. The Browns, Baker Mayfield, everyone on the Browns offense proved that they can do well without him. So now if he wants to come back and be successful, he has to incorporate himself into the offense. The offense shouldn't evolve around him anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It really, it could end up being just an amazing story where, not that you ever want anybody to get hurt, but OBJ misses enough time so that everybody else gets comfortable into the offense. And so that by the time he comes back for next season, he fits in as the dangerous weapon because I think there's a major issue with Baker trying to force him the ball and trying to do right by OBJ. And so a lot of those conversations like Baker Mayfield's better without Odell Beckham Jr. Not real. I mean, maybe, but if that's the case, it's not Odell Beckham's fault. It's Baker's fault. And Baker getting a chance to learn this offense, to get used to Kevin Stefanski, to get used to playing in this style might actually pay dividends to his and OBJ's on-field relationship down the road. But this idea that OBJ is not a good fit or not a good player, I mean, I don't have time for stuff like that.
I mean, even when he was having like a technically bad season, I'd still consider him a top 10 receiver in the NFL. It's just that he wasn't I feel like Baker, like you said, Baker was forcing him the ball rather than just getting OBJ involved in the offense when he can be involved in the offense instead of force feeding him. I just feel like next season, if OBJ can be a much more improved DPJ from OBJ to beat DPJ, imagine how good this offense can be if OBJ is filling in Donovan Peoples-Jones' spot. And you actually have to worry about the deep ball threat rather than a rookie. I mean, don't get me wrong, DPJ was really good this year. But imagine if Odell Beckham fills in that same exact role. I mean, that's just another weapon for Baker in the offense.
What's crazy is just how Browns fans have tried to get used to an offseason where you don't need to make wholesale changes and you don't need to covet every player on the waiver wire in the free agent market. It's like I don't know what to do with my hands when I'm taking a picture. Browns fans don't know what to do with themselves if they don't need to chop out whole parts of the offense or defense. All right, Super Bowl. So I didn't get Aaron Rodgers. I didn't get the Buffalo Bills.
0 for 2.
I know. So we end up with the Kansas City Chiefs. We get Tampa Bay, Tom Brady. They're going to try and pretend that this is an interesting story of Tom Brady coming back to the Super Bowl because he's the GOAT, the GOAT. We got it. I think Tom Brady's kind of a dork, but he's undeniably great. And do you really care about all the Tom Brady storylines, or I not that you're going to be like sick of Tom Brady or I don't know. It's going to be the dominating storyline of the week, and like I'm hoping it's a good game. But football is such a team sport that you know, I'm not sure what it really all means.
I feel like the Tom Brady GOAT conversation is overstated because no matter what happens on, I was going to say Sunday, in 2 Sundays, he's still the GOAT. I mean, he literally just picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the offseason and was like, hey, I'm going to take you guys to the Super Bowl. And boom, here they are. I don't know. So
That's
I
an
feel like,
oversimplification.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. But they have obviously a bunch of weapons at wide receiver, and they're really good. But
When he chose a coach that had a track record for knowing how to do stuff.
But he but he learned a brand new. I guess it's Tom Brady too. But he learned like a brand new offense and just took. But then again, when you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, Antonio Brown, I mean they have so many weapons on the offense too. But I used to hate Tom Brady. I'll be honest. I used to hate Tom Brady, not because he went to Michigan. I don't care about that.
I for sure hated Tom Brady.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't anymore. Especially seeing this human side of him, where like he went out to Drew Brees and his kids when, obviously, well, most likely it was Drew Brees' last game in the Superdome, and then after this past Sunday's game when he said, "Hey, can I just see my son or say hey to my son?" I feel like seeing that human side of Tom Brady makes me like respect him a little bit and not like him, but like not hate him, I guess you'd say.
I mean, did you find that surprising?
No, but it was just cool to see the human side of the GOAT, I guess, in football terms.
I'm just not that interested in that stuff. And I kind of was like, I know it's not a popular take, but when everybody was losing their mind over Drew Brees, like we've been celebrating Drew Brees for 10 years. Like get a hold of yourselves. We knew this day was coming. Like
True.
I know he's a wonderful guy. I know, I really, I do. Like he's a wonderful dude. He's had an amazing career, but like, okay. So what am I supposed to do with that? Like,
I see where you're coming from.
there's like this, there's this, and a lot of it just has to do with being on social media, but like, can everybody just stop falling all over themselves all the time? Can we just calm down?
That's what social media is all about. It's all about like falling in over yourselves over videos and like reposting them or just
like,
hating on people. That's literally all social media is nowadays.
Well, and I don't want to hate on Drew Brees, and I didn't, but not every, like in high school, you had the senior superlatives, like who's the best at this? Who's the greatest at that? Who's most likely to be the greatest at this? And it seems like we have to do that every week in the NFL or every year, every time somebody retires, you know, we have to put them on a pedestal. Every time somebody dies, they have to be the greatest person who ever lived that we didn't nearly appreciate enough when they were living. And it's just like, enough of the superlatives. Drew Brees is a great quarterback.
I agree.
He's a great quarterback. He deserves celebration, but I'm not falling all over myself because he ended his career this past week, 2 weeks ago.
I get where you're coming from. I just like seeing the human side of not only professional athletes, but like stars. But I definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah. All right. So we've got Patrick Mahomes and then our good friend Demoko. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is more hateable than Tom Brady.
I think I'm going to be totally against that. And
true or false, Josh? True or false? It's like our new segment.
False. Patrick Mahomes, I feel like Dave is just trolling us, but it's like hard to hate on him. Like, what is there to hate about Patrick Mahomes?
All right. So here's the thing. I think it's currently false, but I think in the long run, Dave's going to be right. I think by the time it's all said and done,
don't ever say Dave is right. He's a whole bet against us forever.
I think I need to go with intellectual honesty. By the time it's all said and done, we are going to hate Patrick Mahomes so much more than we ever hated Tom Brady.
Is that because Patrick Mahomes, now that the Browns are good, Patrick Mahomes might keep the Browns out of the Super Bowl? Or why is that?
No, I just think his act. You know, Tom Brady was a little bit quieter. There was more mystique. He wasn't on every commercial. He wasn't really pumping himself up all the time. Tom Brady really flirted with ruining all that stuff with the TB12 in the last couple of years, but he didn't do any of that for like the first 15 years of his career or something.
Wait, if we're talking about quarterbacks and commercials, then
No, we're not going to do that.
okay.
Not going to do it.
No, but
All
I
right.
feel like
Yeah.
it's hard to hate on Patrick Mahomes. The only reason I'd hate him is if he keeps the Browns out of the Super Bowl more times than once. And
But
he did
that's
not keep
different.
the Browns out of the Super Bowl this year because it was all freaking Chad Henne. But we won't talk about that.
But we're not talking about like the way we hated John Elway, or I hated John Elway. You're too young. I hated John Elway, but I didn't apply that to like a national, everybody hates John Elway. That was a very Cleveland specific thing that I didn't expect the entire world to apply to. When we talk about Tom Brady, it's different than when my wife talks about Tom Brady because she was a Peyton Manning fan. But Tom, we're talking about the national. We're not talking about Patrick Mahomes keeps the Browns out of the playoffs, so we've got a personal vendetta against the dude. That's possible. We're talking about, let's pretend like all things being equal, we're the neutral observers on a national perspective. I really think that the Mahomes vibe is going to wear thinner potentially, or could wear thinner than the Tom Brady one, because he is out there. He is Mr. State Farm. He is all over the place.
Yeah, I guess the commercial side, but then again, I don't know. It's just like I said,
That was
it's
one
hard.
of the things that people held against Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was on 75 commercials all the time, way overexposed, at least in relation to what Tom Brady ever did.
Yeah. Now that you say that, has Tom Brady like ever been out on a commercial? But then again, does he need to be? I mean, he's making enough money. His family makes enough money. He doesn't really need to be on commercials. But yeah, ever since you brought up commercials, I can't name a Tom Brady commercial, to be honest.
And how many Peyton Manning commercials can you name? You cut that
Uh,
meat.
yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
My favorite ones though were the ESPN ones where it was him and Eli.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess if from that side, I guess you can hate on Patrick Mahomes, but just from like a football only perspective, it's hard to hate on a guy that literally does anything and everything on the field.
All right, so let's talk a little betting. The Super Bowl is the Chiefs, Buccaneers. Were you surprised that the Chiefs were only 3.5-point underdogs?
No, they're favorites, aren't they?
Oh, I'm sorry. The
I was just
Chiefs
saying, you
were
confused me.
3.5-point favorites. I'm sorry.
I feel like on a neutral field, it would be more, but you have to remember that it's a home game for Tampa Bay, and probably I'd say the majority of fans, I mean, they're allowing 18,000 fans. It's got to be at least 15,000 Tampa Bay, right? So they basically are going to have home field advantage.
There's never that many home fans for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that's when it's a neutral field. It's literally in Tampa Bay. I think, well, either way, I think that Vegas is taking that into effect, because when you're the home team, I think it's different numbers for NFL and NCAA, but I think for the NFL, you get 4 points as the home team. So even if you say they're giving the Buccaneers 3 points, then on a neutral field, they'd be Chiefs by 6, not by 3. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is that we should treat this, because in essence it's a Buccaneers home game, we should treat this like a 6 or a 6.5-point line.
I think so. If it was on a true neutral field, it would be probably like a 6-point line.
But in your heart, in your soul, as you're looking at this game with $100 in your hands,
are Chiefs you treating all the way?
Yeah, you're not treating. I'm not either.
No.
I would bet the Chiefs as a 6-point favorite.
It's actually interesting because 79% of the money is on Chiefs -3 right now, but somehow it opened at Chiefs 3.5, and now it's at Chiefs -3. So I don't know how the numbers went down, but they're getting literally 80% of the money. But then again, I'm not Vegas. But yes, if I had $100, I would definitely put it on Chiefs -3. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm surprised by it. I thought the line would have been bigger, but then again, it's not, as you and I know, lines aren't necessarily meant to describe the actual game. They're designed to attract the most number of bettors.
Yep. And I mean, even we wanted to talk about the Super Bowl last week when Conor McGregor, he was a huge favorite, and like 80% of the money was still going on McGregor, and Vegas made a ton of money when he lost. And I feel like maybe that's where they're trying to lean toward now. Maybe they're hoping that Tampa Bay wins outright or even covers, and 80% of the money's on Kansas City right now. It's hard to question Vegas. So whatever they say, Vegas knows.
All right. So the over under is 56 points. What do you think about that?
In the NFL, especially this year, it's hard to not go over. Especially
it really
in Kansas
is.
City.
Although I got to think that the Super Bowl is going to be a tighter game than that.
Yeah. I mean, because 56, so they're basically thinking that it's going to be like a 30-27 game, which, I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's hard to, because Tom Brady could have the perfect game plan to, like the Browns were trying to do, is keep Mahomes off the field. Maybe Tampa Bay is going to come up with a game plan to have limit possessions. And if they do that, obviously it's low scoring. But it's just so hard to bet the under on any game in the NFL this season, especially a freaking Browns game.
Well, let's be honest. Just like betting the under is never fun.
True. I've experienced that.
I mean,
it's like, no, don't score.
I probably should have bet the under a couple of times this season on the Browns just based on weather reports. But it's not fun. Rooting for people not to score is just not. It's just not anywhere near as much fun as rooting for more scoring.
Yeah. Besides golf, there's literally like you want as much scoring as like you want the highest numbers as possible, unless obviously you're betting the under. But
like one of those baseball losers who likes a pitcher's duel.
Yeah, like being
I'm looking right at you, Dairy Bros.
I feel like being at a perfect game would be pretty cool, but I'd much rather be at a game where it's like a 20-19 final than a perfect game. I don't know.
In all fairness,
in hindsight,
even the Dairy Bros don't like a pitcher's duel in football. They only like a pitcher's duel in baseball.
True. Hey, and the Indians are going to need a lot of pitchers duels this year, but we won't even get into that. I see a third person waiting in the lobby, by the way.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here, Patrick Mahomes is the worst quarterback ever.
He plays for the Chiefs. That's all you need to know. Like, I don't like this.
For those just listening, Dave Sterling has joined the podcast.
Hi, everybody. I wasn't doing anything, and you weren't reading enough of my comments, so I'm here now.
Yes, we did.
You read one out of the three. First of all,
the other one
we need to rehabilitate Kevin Porter Jr. so we can have OBJ, DPJ, and KPJ all on the same team.
All right, get rid of Josh Gordon, bring on Kevin Porter Jr.
Just whoever was working with Josh Gordon, have them start working on Kevin Porter Jr.
Andrew Berry.
That worked out really well.
We've got roster decisions based on initials.
Yeah. Okay, the only thing about Patrick Mahomes, and then I'll let you guys keep talking because I'm enjoying it. But the problem, I don't like the kind of NBA-ification of the NFL. I don't like you're supposed to be the fan of the whole league and all that stuff. No, he's a quarterback for a team that's not my team. I'm not going to like him. Like, do I think he has a lot of talent? Yes. Do I want him to throw a lot more interceptions? Yes, I do. And so while I acknowledge the talent, it's easy.
But he's not going to
throw a lot of interceptions. Who knows? But this is the cheesiest thing I'll say all night. As a dad, seeing him go talk to Drew Brees' kids and stuff after the game and throw passes and telling him to be nice to your sister and all that stuff, I've always hated Tom Brady until this year when I was just a little bit indifferent. And then you see at the end, he is kind of a nice guy when Bill Belichick's not around. And
wait, so Dave and I disagreed on something while disagreeing on something else. This is like a whole new world to me right now. Dave and I just agreed on a podcast together for the first time. We're on a podcast for the first time together, and we agree that Tom Brady isn't hateable.
Yeah, and maybe it was just Belichick the whole time.
But I want to talk about your other point. And I like that you called it the NBA-ification because
I love that made up word. Spell it.
There's something about
I typed it out a couple of times and then
NBA-ification, NBA-ification.
I love how Dave makes up words and they turn into like really cool words. It's
no,
really...
but this is a real issue. This is a real thing.
Oh, I agree.
And this is why I have so much trouble with national NBA reporters who treat the league like our league. You know, they hear LeBron, they hear all these people talking about our league, players first, our league. And I like players too. I want players to get their money.
Some of my favorite players are players.
Exactly. I support them. But this idea that it just puts fans last. And I know that team owners aren't sympathetic. I get it. But if you look at the priorities of owners and the priorities of fans, they're more aligned. And so by being pro player and anti-owner, you're kind of in a way being anti-fan. And any fan who's like, oh no, I don't care that guy has a twisted ankle and is going to miss 10 days. You're the worst fan in the world because the league needs the Warriors to be talented. The world needs the Knicks to be relevant. The world's a better place when the Knicks are relevant. Oh my God, the world is a better place when the Knicks are relevant.
When was the last time the Knicks were relevant? So maybe that's why this world kind of stinks right now, because the Knicks haven't been relevant in decades.
Beside the point, Josh. You're missing the point.
Well, no, I get where you're coming from, though. I get where you're coming from.
And the thing about the owners, it's if you happen to live in a city that's not appealing to like a 23-year-old athlete, then the only thing you have as a fan/owner is a contract that someone will honor. And so if you don't have to honor your contracts anymore, then there's nothing keeping you on the Indiana Pacers, say, or Cleveland Cavaliers, say, unless you like what's happening or you happen to have lived 45 minutes south of there for most of your life. So
Colin Sexton doesn't live 45 minutes south of Cleveland.
No, but he's also.
I was talking about the second greatest player of all time, LeBron James.
Okay.
No, but it's an interesting point because, even 6-7 years ago, we were talking about, well, how can the Cavaliers turn it around? Well, we've got the Spurs model. We've got this model. There is no longer a model.
Yeah.
There is no model.
The model is build your team around Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, and Jared Allen. That's the model that everyone has to go by now.
Larry
Nance Jr. Cannot forget about him. Sorry.
It's okay. Craig's wearing the shirt, so.
Yeah, I love that shirt, by the way.
It's
the shop. Oh, in the original artwork, I didn't see the shop part, so I just thought it was a shirt that said Greg for a while. But now I knew what it was.
What if I wish that shirt just said Greg?
Just get a Greg shirt.
Greg Realm. Be like, oh yeah, I meant to say Craig, but it says Greg.
I mispronounced my name on my shirt. Yeah.
All right. So actually, Dave, this is a perfect topic for you to jump in on because we were going to finish.
Yeah.
We're going to finish. And
I'm going to
let Josh go first, but we're talking about Super Bowl food because we've never gotten to watch our team in the Super Bowl. So we spent a lot of time perfecting the spread.
Before the food, I'm going to straight up admit that I am that guy who wears a Browns jersey to a Super Bowl party. I am that guy.
At least next year, though, you'll be wearing a team that's in the Super Bowl, though.
Exactly.
That's great.
I will be relevant finally at a Super Bowl party, but I will admit that I'm that guy. Okay.
All right. Hold on. Before you go on, what jersey? What player? Tim Couch. William Green.
Last year was I'm going Lee Suggs if I'm going classic players.
Lee Suggs. I was going to get to him eventually. I was just going down the running back.
The running back tree, yeah. The Jerome Harrison number 35 jersey.
Wait, you have Lee Suggs and Jerome Harrison?
I don't have either of those.
Oh,
no.
I was going to say, holy cow, you really do love your Browns running backs.
Well,
It's like a portal that never ends.
You'll find if you get married one day, Josh, that your wife's enthusiasm for your expired jerseys is less than your own.
That's why you have so many expired jerseys, because your wife won't allow you to pay for the actual ones, so you have to get them like 50% off.
Well, that too. You can get an excellent deal on a Deshaun Kaiser on clevelandbrowns.com right now.
Deshaun Kaiser, that's like 7 quarterbacks ago. Okay, come on.
Craig knows that Deshaun Kaiser's living a fine life right now.
Thanks, Sashi.
How do we all this talk and we have to include thanks Sashi, and it makes sense?
Hey, anytime Deshaun Kaiser comes up. All right, so food.
Trust me on this one, Craig. Trust me.
Food.
Sorry,
all right, so I'll go first. I usually go to parties and I don't cook. Just whatever is supplied, I eat because I'm a big dude. So,
but what do you like?
There, you can never go wrong with pizza, unless it's Papa John's. But that's another hot take.
So here's an issue.
Pizza.
Hang on. Super Bowl party pizza. The issue is that what time do you order it? Yeah. And if it's sitting around too long, all of a sudden the Super Bowl party pizza is a little bit lesser than, because pizza is always better really, really fresh
or cold
or the next day.
Well, sometimes it's a sheet pizza too, if you're going to a larger party and then you get one of those inside squares with no crust.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, that's no good.
I will eat an inside square if it's fresh, but an inside square 47 minutes after it's been opened, no bueno.
I like how you just use like the exact 47 minutes too, like you've experienced this before.
I've done the math.
No, but seriously, I don't think I've ever actually had pizza for the Super Bowl. It's usually just like a bunch of apps like buffalo chicken dip, stuff like that. But this year it's definitely going to be pizza just because COVID. I'll have to give a shout out. Ohio pie is, I don't know if you guys have had Ohio pie before in Brunswick. If you're from Northeast Ohio, go to Ohio pie. It is delicious.
It's a close favorite of one of the very good friends of the podcast, OK Pants. So I believe he did all the artwork and design work for that pizza shop. So I will just give it a blind recommendation based on that. But the buffalo chicken dip's a key. That's one that, like, if you're eating it in the third quarter, you're still pretty happy.
Yeah.
Unless it's like hardened up. Where if it's like hardened up, it's not really that good anymore. But until then,
much like pizza, chicken wings are tough because chicken wings need to be eaten relatively fresh.
Well, the key here, though, this year especially, is not just timing so it's fresh, but timing so you get it and it's not the third quarter of the game. Because everyone in the goddamn world, I had a fun experience of a bunch of people who tried to do an online order from Quaker Steak the day of the Super Bowl. And I called because I wasn't going to trust their online ordering system. So they had a giant table set up where everyone would come and get their wings. And there were people who had been there for literal hours waiting on their chicken wings. And I walked in, got mine, and left. But those people just kind of trusted the online ordering system. And, oh, yeah, it'll be ready in minutes.
Those people were talking shit about you the entire time you walked out.
Oh, 100%. And you know what I did? I walked out of there with my chicken wings and said, have a great day, everybody.
I would have opened up the box and started eating them as I was walking out.
Just sit right down.
Man, these are really good fresh. I don't mind chicken wings not fresh, though. Like hot, warm, or cold, I'll eat chicken wings. Is that bad?
No, I don't like cold chicken wings. I'm out.
Really?
What about cold fried chicken?
Yes.
Cold fried chicken is a compromise.
I don't think I guess I have. I like any of that stuff. I like pizza cold, wings cold. I'll be honest. This might be a hot take too. I already see Dave's face because I already said the first word.
I know what's coming.
Chicken nuggets, here we go.
Boneless wings. Just because they're so much easier to eat.
Chicken nuggets plus sauce. Everybody loves them, but they're not wings.
Yeah, and I'm fine. Yeah, I'm not anti-boneless chicken nuggets, but they're just that's fine, and enjoy them.
Wait, but did you just call them boneless chicken nuggets?
That's
Yeah.
what they
Come
are.
on.
Actually,
Oh
I
my
was
God, people.
about 12 years ago. I was in China, and I took.
I feel like this isn't going to be good. This is not going to be good.
Well, here's a difference between the way a Chinese family would eat and the way I would say Americans, Europeans would eat. So they have a big table with a big lazy Susan with a bunch of different dishes on it. And I was just mostly looking for something I recognized. And I saw what I thought was, just little fried chunks of chicken, which it was. But like in America, once something goes in your mouth, food-wise, you eat it, and then that's it. But in China, there's bones in that chicken nugget. So you eat it, and then you spit the bone out. And so I took a big old chomper of this, what I thought was a chicken nugget, because it was something I recognized. And it was chicken, but there was also just chicken bone in there. And then everybody at the table's eating and then taking stuff out of their mouth. I'm like, oh, that's not. So anyway, I got really good with chopsticks because there were peanuts. And they were the only thing that I could definitively say, all right, I know I'm going to like peanuts. So if you can get a peanut on a lazy Susan with chopsticks.
Did the peanuts somehow have bones in them?
The peanuts did not, no.
I'm a super picky eater, and I was even more so back in college. And I remember going to dim sum with some friends of mine in Boston. And I just remember the parade of food would just go by and by.
Craig's
and
just
by.
going.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Nope.
I
not
don't
that
like
one.
that.
And there's a reason now why Craig's skinny and I'm not.
Yeah.
It was more like
Josh and I are going, oh yeah, come on, bring it in. Come on.
Oh, are you coming around again? Thank you.
I was like, is there something with the noodles?
Because I missed you the first time.
It's like the polar opposite of the Brazilian steakhouse where you eat everything.
Yeah.
I was eating nothing. Dim sum.
Maybe I need to go on the Boston diet sometime. But speaking of, go on, Dave. You guys need to talk about your Super Bowl food too.
Well, I appreciate at a party the boneless wing, because if you're sitting on a couch, someone else's couch,
exactly,
and you're trying to eat wings, that's no good. Well, we went to last year for the Ohio State playoff game. We went to my sister-in-law's house.
Go Beach Nuts.
Yeah, you're talking. The number one Ohio State fan in the world is talking right now. But continue, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you. I'm talking about you.
Oh, right. I'm a big Beach Nut warrior. A BBW all the way. You guys haven't put that together yet? Come on. So we go over to my sister-in-law's house, and I literally made pulled pork sandwiches in the crock pot, and I get a sandwich made, and I go, and my sister-in-law has 2 white couches. And I'm like, what? What are we supposed to do here? So in that situation, the buffalo wing, the boneless wing, is a superior product because you just got a fork. You don't need to worry about the bones, napkins.
Thank you. You could have just ended at the boneless wing is the superior product. And
in that situation, like in a restaurant, it's real wings all the way.
No, in a restaurant though, they're same with ribs. I love ribs, but I can never eat them in a restaurant setting. You know what I mean? Unless I have wipes right next to me, because they're so good, but it's so messy.
There's a barbecue restaurant near me that just puts a roll of paper towels at every seat. So there's just pull off a big roll of brown.
What barbecue? Famous Dave's? Because I know Famous Dave's does that.
Well, I guess it's probably a lot of barbecue places. This is what is it called? No, I can't remember.
But anything barbecue though.
Jimmy's backyard barbecue in Cuyahoga Falls.
I love barbecue. I put barbecue on anything, to be honest.
Now I'm hungry, guys. I ate dinner earlier.
Yeah,
now all this.
I like how Dave said he was just getting on here to talk Patrick Mahomes, and now he's still on here talking about food, and now we're all hungry.
Well,
all right. So my turn.
Yeah,
yes,
anything in a crock pot. I'll do the buffalo chicken dip in a crock pot. I'll do chili in a crock pot. And then the one alteration there, anytime you can make a baked baked pasta of some kind, whether it's a baked ziti with a melted cheese on top or a lasagna, something like that. It stays fresher longer, and I'm all about that. Really, what I want during a Super Bowl is I want to be uncomfortably full.
Yeah.
I don't want to snack. I don't want to eat carrot sticks and hummus. I
Who
want to
does
be
that? That's way too healthy.
I do want
to be
to
uncomfortably full.
I want carrot sticks with ranch, though.
I would do that.
I'll have a couple of carrot sticks with ranch. I was going to say the crock pot was key for Super Bowl because it is meatballs, like meatballs and barbecue sauce.
Yes, the best.
You just use so good. Yeah.
All right, so since we're on Super Bowl food talk, when the Browns are in the Super Bowl next year, I guess we can talk about this next year at this time. Are we going to eat until we're uncomfortably
vomiting?
Yeah, what are we going to do?
I'm not going to eat anything at all. I'm going to be sitting alone in my basement, not talking to anybody.
It's going to be a miserable 2 weeks, to be honest. Why does the Super Bowl have to be 2 weeks from the championship Sunday?
The 2016 Game 7, I didn't eat anything, and I was with a group of people. It was just sitting there kind of doubled over, nervous. That just, the hunger never came that night.
But imagine the 2 week lead up though.
Oh.
Are we really going to, I won't be nervous for the 2 weeks, but a couple hours before game time, it's be holy cow, the Browns are in the freaking Super Bowl.
I definitely woke up this past Sunday somewhat bummed that the Browns weren't playing, but also fairly relieved that the Browns weren't playing. I think as fans, we need to have our playoff experience to learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, you would always prefer that your team keep going. But if they've lost, you can appreciate the relief of not having the pressure of another week of playoffs.
Yes.
I need to stop you guys because I didn't finish.
Sorry.
last year when, because this was pre-pandemic.
Just barely,
The pandemic didn't start till March, thankfully. I did an old school nacho bar. So I went online and I ordered that liquid cheese, the liquid nacho cheese like you would get at a gas station or at Mr. Hero or something. And I loaded that into a crock pot. I made 4 pounds of taco meat, just cheap beef with not Ortega. I go with the other one, the blue package. One of those taco seasoning packets. The salt, 5 different kinds of salsa, the jalapenos, and then all the, for people who like the white chips and then the yellow corn chips. And I had 4 or 5 different types of chips.
Damn.
And everybody was going down the line, making their perfect plate of nachos.
I feel with
as many perfect bites. Because when you have nachos, you're looking for that perfect bite. You want the right amount of cheese, beef, jalapeno, and everything in every single bite, as many times as you can do it.
That's a Dimitri Martin joke about salads, that each bite of salad is an individual salad.
I never heard that.
Because you're trying to get one of each ingredient on your fork every time. So it's the same with nachos.
I cannot believe you just compared nachos to salad, but here we are.
Hey.
I feel like you can't go wrong with nachos. Can you really?
No.
I feel like they're no matter what good, and you can only make them great. But no matter what, nachos are good.
Well,
I've never had a bad nacho.
When you have the bar, is the only thing that can go wrong with nachos is the chips go soggy, and if you're making fresh every time you head up there, you're golden.
And they're completely customizable. So if you like a little bit more taco meat and I like a little more liquid cheese, and we both like a tiny bit of jalapeno, we're all happy.
By the way, liquid cheese is good, but calling it liquid cheese just makes it sound disgusting. Can we call it queso?
No,
Please,
man.
No, it's nacho cheese.
No, it's queso.
And when you order it, if you order it from, or even if you buy it, on that special aisle at Walmart, it comes in a bag. It comes in a plastic bag. It's liquid cheese.
It's designed to go into a dispenser.
And I also liked how you said you can get it at either your gas station or your local Mr. Hero.
Exactly.
Very fresh for you.
Well,
that sounds so good though.
Growing up, we used to get those Mr. Hero waffle fries with the pumps. How many pumps of cheese do you want in your waffle fries?
You can still get a cheese cup at Arby's to go with your curly fries. Okay, I'm going to tell a non-Super Bowl related food story, but it is Cleveland sports related.
I'm just going to mute myself.
One time in China. All right, go on.
No, this is local. So if you've heard either on Twitter or if you listen to the radio calls, if the Browns get an interception the following Monday at Arby's, you're supposed to get free small curly fries. So the first time that this happened and I decided to go to Arby's on a Monday and I went, hey, do you have the free curly fries because of the Browns? And she goes, oh, okay. Like she had not heard about this, but was not worried about that in the least. And then since I now watch Cavs games on illegal streams, they show like the league pass feed, which stays at the arena during like the on-court, like the dancing and Ahmad stuff and all that. And so in one of these segments, Ahmad said something about, oh, well, since the other team missed 2 free throws in a row, tomorrow you can get free curly fries at Arby's. And so I was like, all right, well, they don't check tickets or anything like that. So the day after that, this was this week, I went to Arby's and I said, hey, do you have the free curly fries for the Cavs? And she goes, hold on, let me check. And then comes back, we haven't heard anything about that, but we're going to give them to you anyway. So you can make up whatever reason you want, and they will give you a free small curly fry at Arby's. Just say it's...
I feel like this is the challenge. I feel like this should be hashtag the Dave challenge.
I'm going to actually use it I'm going to use it for vaccines at Drug Mart. I'm going to go, hey, the Cavs scored over 100 points. I get a free vaccine.
Woo! The Lumberjacks scored a power play goal. So I should get a free...
The Dave at Arby's challenge hashtag.
No, the Dave at Arby's challenge is to not have diarrhea the next day. That's the Dave at Arby's challenge. So I wouldn't take it too far.
I'm not even going to ask questions. I'm just going to let that be.
Hey, you already said you didn't like Papa John's pizza, so we're on the same.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
I thought you were going to say that you disagree.
Now we're on the topic of Arby's. So when
how long can we talk about Arby's? Holy cow!
I know, right? We should never stop. So growing up, Arby's like held this special place for me because when you're young and you're a teenager and your appetite is just never ending, you can eat as much as you want. We used to get the 5 roast beefs or the 5 beef and cheddars.
5 for 5, yeah.
Wait, hold on. That goes away when you're older because I still have that.
Yes, it does.
All right, go on.
For most of us. So a couple of years ago, I'm about to turn 42 on February 10th because I'm old as shit. But a couple of years ago for my 40th birthday, we were hanging out with some friends at this one place, and down the street.
You can say strip club. It's okay.
It was not a strip club. I was with my kids.
That's the code name Arby's.
Right.
Arby's.
It was like one of those adult arcade places where I was playing skee ball like I was 14 again. It was really fun. But we ate early and we stayed a long time. And so we were leaving and they're like, well, is there anything else you want to do on your birthday? I'm like, I want to hit Arby's on the way home. Solid. And so I pretended like I was 17 again. I got 2 beef and cheddar sandwiches, a giant curly fry, seasoned curly fry. Like, there's just something about Arby's that hits differently than the other fast food places. It's not a burger joint, and it just doesn't matter how old you get. Like, those Arby's sandwiches taste exactly the same.
Yeah.
The McDonald's fries don't taste the same as when I was a kid.
Right.
The Burger King, the Wendy's, none of that stuff tastes the same as when I was a kid, but Arby's tastes exactly the same as when I was 17 years old.
See, I don't like roast beef though, so if I go to Arby's, I don't get roast beef, I get a chicken sandwich, to be honest. Is that bad of me?
You get a boneless buffalo wing sandwich.
I asked for chicken. I asked for chicken nuggets with a bun on the top and the bun on the bottom.
Yep.
All right. Last but not least, let's finish this thing out. Dave, we've already predicted. We've already talked about who we would bet on for the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites. Who would you bet on?
Well, I would. My first thought is the famous John Boyce would say, "Never count out touchdown Tom." This will be interesting because I feel like, and this is 100% sour grapes, but I'm going to keep it going anyway. I feel like if you've seen the commercials with the Mahomes discount, the refs give the Chiefs defense the Mahomes discount.
My goodness.
So if you notice, they play the Baltimore style of defense, which is like, all right, well, we'll hold and interfere on every play, and we'll kind of see if they'll call it. And that's kind of their style. But when you're going up against the Tom Brady, who's going to get the refs? You know what I mean?
Brady 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. So it's going to be, I mean, I think the refs are going to have a lot of influence on the game.
I think the defense is going to get screwed no matter what. So we should just bet the over.
That might be the safe bet. But then didn't we all think that a few years ago when it was Patriots-Rams, and then it was like 17-3 or something like that. So
the Rams had a great defense.
Do you know why it was 17-3? Because Bill Belichick was holding Tom Brady back.
I actually don't think there's a defense playing on Sunday.
Well,
no,
a week from Sunday.
A Chiefs fence. Yeah, I was not real happy with how the Chiefs played defense. It just seemed like they were getting away with a lot, and because Patrick Mahomes was on the other side, the refs were like, "Well, we'll be all right." And I guess this is the Browns being there for the first time in a while. I mean, the relevance of the Browns, and eventually, just like the Cavs learned, you'll eventually get those calls, but not today.
Next year, when they're in the Super Bowl, they will.
Right.
It's the thing I miss the most about LeBron being gone.
Yeah. Well, that was even in the second, the end of the first Cavs-Nets game, when we got Harden can take 4 steps and Kyrie can hit somebody in the face and they'll reverse it to make it look like he didn't. Yeah.
James Harden literally created his own move. That's a travel, but because it's a move now, it's not a travel. Like that explains all you need to know about James Harden.
Even LeBron with his crab dribble couldn't pull that off.
Right.
I love how this just turned from what would you bet to hating on James Harden. It's awesome.
I'm saying it's all going to come down to the refs. I don't know anything about Tampa Bay. I've watched 0 Tampa Bay games. I couldn't name a single player on their defense.
Oh, I thought you were going to say on their team. I was like,
no, I know a couple guys on their team, but is Warren Sapp still on the Buccaneers?
Mike Allstott's their running back,
coached by John Gruden.
Yeah. Hey, if they were coached by John Gruden, they'd have a shot at beating the Chiefs for some reason.
Yeah, I like how all those were like old people. And now we're like coached by John Gruden, and he's still coaching the NFL. But like Mike Allstott and all those guys are way gone.
Way, like a long time.
Well, and so was John Gruden until he was thrown a lifeline by the world's dumbest owner.
Yeah.
With a bowl cut.
With the world's worst bowl cut.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good place to stop. Josh, you got anything else?
Boneless wins for the win.
All right. So you could have just said nothing. No, I don't.
No, just the Super Bowl is going to be weird, but just eat a lot of food and don't regret it. That's it. Eat a lot of food and don't regret it, because next year you'll be too nervous to eat a lot of food.
Solid advice.
Yeah, and this is the moment where I remind everybody that Waiting for Next Year now has a Discord. Make sure you log in, join us. We're having a really good time. It's not as toxic, at least not yet, not as toxic as Twitter. Certainly not as toxic as Facebook. We love to be there. We love talking to you guys. And then in addition to that, there's a special channel for the Patreon members. If you go to patreon.com/WFNY, patreon.com/WFNY, any little bit that you can support us would be wonderful. We are part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Thanks for jumping in, guys. It was good to talk to you, Josh. Thanks for crashing, Dave.
Yeah, thanks for crashing our party.
You sent me the link. Okay.
Did send you
No.
I did, Josh.
I
I
appreciate
sent
it.
I sent him the link after he was commenting like a banshee.
Just remember,
True.
OBJ,
And-
DPJ, KPJ. That's all you need to remember.
So in the NFL draft this April, just the Browns have to get players that have a PJ in the name.
Yep.
Or yeah.
Just
Okay.
three initials. Yeah.
Somebody send a memo to Andrew Barry. We're
Yep.
out.